Good morning. Going to IronDog MX today to teach a class, the final class in Houston. I literally have not stopped moving all week. Kid you not. Like, I wake up first thing in the morning, run around to get out of the hotel as quick as possible, and then just go all day. I feel like crap right now because it's still only 8 a.m. I'm surprised how good I've been feeling halfway through the days. I've just been trying to like keep up with my vitamins and eating and hydrating. It's exhausting, but today should be good. Weather looks sketchy. If anything, I mean, the track's good. You guys will see it. Really sandy, like sand clay mix, so I'd imagine it'll hold water super, super well. Gonna teach a bunch of kids. Cade Clayson's gonna come along and help teach, so it should be a fun day. Hey guys, the chair you've been seeing me sit in the last few videos, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. This is the Mavix M9 in white. Coming from a motocross background, all of you I imagine are coming from a motocross background as well. So I needed a chair when editing these YouTube videos that I was comfortable in and that I could make the adjustments to customize it to me. One of my favorite things about this chair is the DVL system, the dynamic variable lumbar system. You guys can adjust the lumbar support however you want. I noticed for me that was the biggest thing to get me comfortable. From years and years of seat bouncing jumps and getting beat up on my dirt bike, that lumbar support is 100% necessary. Another cool thing about it is the Mavix Cool Gel M foam. So the bottom of this seat is designed to stay cool the entire time you sit on it. For those of you that are used to riding uncomfortable dirt bike seats all day long, this thing is the exact opposite. You could sit on this thing for hours on end, stay cool, stay comfortable, it has just the right amount of give. Whether you're a young racer that watches these videos and you spend a lot of time playing video games, this chair is for you. Or maybe you're forced to work from home right now, or you're forced to be homeschooled right now and you're sitting in a chair all day long. You want to find a chair that's comfortable, and I know us motocrossers need something that is easy on the back. This chair is it. I urge you guys to click that link below in the description. Go to mavix.com/AJMavix. Use code AJMavix, that's M-A-V-I-X, for a free footrest. Can't beat that. Now we're gonna work jumps. We're gonna do the same thing. We'll split into two groups. We're gonna do the tabletop, coming back this way, the big booter one. The jumping drills don't matter how much air you catch. If you catch a foot of air or if you catch 100 feet, it doesn't matter. It's the same exact movement. There's two ways to do a jump. You have soaking up and scrubbing, and you have preloading and seat bouncing. Which would you guess is the tabletop coming back this way?
Absorbing.
Absorbing, right? Most of the jumps on a motocross track are absorbing, are scrubbing, are soaking it up. It's within the attack position. It's just moving a certain way, a specific way within the attack position, which is you're completely vertical as you're going up the jump face within the attack position. As soon as your front end begins to catch air, you quickly absorb, let the bike come all the way to you. This is a quick movement, and then also once you're done with it, you come right back to vertical, because what do you need when you land? You need your body's suspension again. If you absorb that jump and we stay in this torpedo position, that's not gonna do you any good, because then when you land, your body's already bottomed out. So you absorb as soon as you go up to takeoff, you extend back out, and then you absorb the landing the same way you take the takeoff, right? There's really nothing special to it. It is just simply changing the amount of speed to go the certain distance that you want. Couple big things to keep in mind: smooth throttle and attack early. Get the speed early. I talked about it a lot in that sand section, which is get the speed ahead of time, create that zone right at the base of the takeoff, which is your uncommit zone, right? It's not the opposite. What a lot of riders are guilty of doing is getting to the base of the jump and making the decision right then, okay, yep, whoa, all right, let's do it. Like, they decide last second to do the jump. Super dangerous. What that leads to is blipping the throttle, whacking the throttle last second, which then over exaggerates any movement that bike's gonna do. Get the speed ahead of time and create that zone at the bottom of the takeoff where if something didn't go right, you missed the shift, you messed up the turn, you got cross-rutted, you don't feel like doing it that lap, I don't know. You can then hit the brakes at that zone and roll it or double it or whatever the case may be. On jumps, make sure we're one gear maybe taller than we normally are. Being in a taller gear is gonna make the suspension handle a little bit better. It's also gonna make it so when you land the obstacle that you have just a better gear to pull you out of it. If you're revved out, the bike isn't gonna pull you out of the landing quite as nicely. So if you're riding If you're hitting that step up in third gear on a 250, try hitting it in fourth. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with how smooth it would actually make it. Another big thing, make sure we're landing on the throttle. Whether you case it, overshoot it, land sideways, clear it perfectly. Land on the throttle, that will pull you out from situations and will make it so that you don't feel like you're coming down from a 10-story building. The boot or tabletop coming back towards us is a perfect example of that. You could clear it perfectly, but if you don't land on the throttle, that jump can hurt. But if you land on the gas hard, it's totally fine. Another big thing, this is a huge misconception I've been posting a lot of videos about it lately, is that if you go to case a jump, land level. The natural instinct of just humans is to get your head away from danger, extending the elbows, leaning your head back, then lost the front end like this. It's dangerous to case a jump like this because the only way for you to go is straight over the bars. If you case the jump nice and level, you'll get a nice level bounce. Keep in mind that if we're now downsiding the jump, level is no longer level. Level is now whatever pitch the landing is. So those of you that are a little bit higher level, if you're downsiding the jump, make that decision at the apex, at the top of your jump. Okay, I have the distance, everything's going well. Let's get that upper body a little forward, get that bike to the pitch I want for the landing. You could pull the clutch in, tap the rear brake, make that adjustment as well.
So all of my favorite Supercross riders, like Eli Tomac and Kate Clayson, they are scrubbing jumps, not yourself though. They're scrubbing jumps. How do I know if I'm ready to start scrubbing jumps?
Okay, great question. Did you get that on film by chance? No, you didn't.
No, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe you.
You don't have to.
Scrubbing is the natural progression of soaking up an obstacle and really getting to the point where you're hitting it so fast that you have to start trying to get the suspension to deflect horizontally and not straight up in the air. It's really the same movement. A scrubbing movement is just, it's done on the takeoff. A lot of people try to do all these funky things in the air. It's done on the takeoff. And it is just a movement with your hips and your knees along, and then your arms are just kind of almost along for the ride as you're absorbing. So you're going down and you're moving the bike with your hips and with your knees right at the top of the takeoff. A whip is kind of also a natural progression of that. So if you scrub a bigger obstacle, you have to bring the scrub back slower, and that kind of turns into a whip. That's why I always say, like, if somebody asks me, oh, well, how do I scrub? How do I whip? If you are asking that question, typically you haven't progressed to the point where you should be doing it yet anyway. I could describe it to you sort of, but you want to find that natural progression. Like when somebody asks me, well, how fast do I hit that jump? How fast do I hit this jump? What gear do I hit that jump in? You just hit it. You hit it as fast as your bike will go. Eventually, that's the level you'll get to. When you get to that level where you answer the question that way, well, I just hit it wide open, then you're trying to find a way to get the wheels back on the ground as possible, which ultimately is how, you know, Stuart and these guys kind of developed the scrub. Let's do this. We'll all go together as one group to the tabletop. I'm going to demonstrate a couple things. I'll demonstrate rolling it. I'll demonstrate catching a foot, going 10 feet, going halfway. I'll demonstrate a case. I'll demonstrate hitting it normal. I'll demonstrate soaking it up, and maybe like a scrub or something like that. So I'll basically show every single step of progression.
Nothing crazy, just a little bit more every time. See how he lands super flat, if anything, maybe a touch on the front wheel. Because if you land front wheel high, you're gonna get that slapping effect, right? And nobody wants that, then the arms blow off, it can be a hard thing. He gains all of that back there, right? I mean, he uses the berm, he's coming at it super confident and controlled. Easy.
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it.
What are your guys' goals for this specific obstacle? You tell me.
Get an inch.
Yep, an inch?
I'll take an inch.
I want to clear it.
Yeah,
Okay.
clear it.
We got a couple that want to clear it? Okay. How far have you progressed so far on this jump?
Halfway.
So you guys have all kind of jumped to that halfway mark. Jump to the halfway point a couple times. Now this is advice. Are you recording? Okay.
What do you think I'm here for?
Well, this is really good advice. Just want to make sure you get this. Do not take more than 4 attempts. This is the magic number. You can roll it 3 times. You really should jump at attempt 3. Do not take more than 4 attempts. If you're telling me right now, so raise your hand quickly if you decided that you want to jump this right now. So that means lap 1. Figure out what gear you're in. You guys have hit this obstacle enough to where you should know that. And jump halfway. You don't have to roll it because you've already rolled this jump enough times. Jump to the halfway mark. Attempt 2, really start to gauge. What I would do is almost set yourself up to where you're far enough behind somebody to where you can see them go over it and still see their head as they roll down the landing. I use that as a gauge to, okay, their head's right there. Once I see, I know exactly how fast to go, right? Attempt 3, commit to that thing. At the very latest, attempt 4, what I'm gonna do is if I see you guys eye it up and not pull the trigger on it after attempt 4, I'm gonna tell you just to not do it and just to keep jumping halfway. Anything past that, you're gonna create hesitation, and that's when you get hurt. That was great! I'm happy with that. There's levels to this. I mean, there's like, it is actually at a certain point it becomes harder to go do it slow because you just don't have the momentum. When you land, it's like a harsher landing. I'm fine with that. He's never caught air before, first time. Fine. This is a steep jump though, huh? This jump is a little tricky to case, unfortunately, because it does have a knuckle built up. I think what happens is so many people jump just past that halfway mark that it piles dirt up into a big knuckle. So this jump does hurt the case. You just gotta land level and land hard on the gas. Oh, great. That bike sounds like garbage. Why does it sound like that? That was great though. That was big hesitation right last. He came in hot and then did you hear him cut off like right at the takeoff? But scared, why I said uh-oh because he started to go a little sideways too.